I'm going to talk about the interesting topic. I think we heard a lot of themes today on automation, on digitization, on what is happening in terms of the changes, how do we get ourselves ready for the future, and at the same time, how do we not be obsolete? And I think like there were some industries, sir here, the speaker on infrastructure, he said that some of the industries are not going to be impacted. But I think every industry that we are going to be talking about, hearing about, or being part about, there is some change that is natural to happen. It might not make it non-existent or obsolete, but there are some changes that we will have to adopt ourselves. And what is it that we need to do in order to be able to be part of this thing and be relevant in this entire age of automation? And that is the topic that I will spend a few minutes on: digitize or perish, be relevant in the age of automation. Just a little bit brief about MindMap. We are a very specialized organization which is focused on skilling in the area of different BPM, analytics, digital, and risk expertise as an area of operation. We work with a lot of corporates. Some of our organizations are mentioned there. We work extensively with AP Skills Development Corporation in terms of working with colleges, working with CSR funds, working with government-funded programs, as well as we work directly with colleges in terms of how do you imbibe these upcoming business requirements, the new skills that are coming into the market, how do you make it part of your culture? How do you get yourself ready for it? How do you get your organizations ready for it? And how do you make your students be ready for this type of skill set that is coming into the market space? We have done more than 10,000 people trained last year. We have taken a vision of how do we get about 1 lakh students ready for this new roles and new job profiles by 2020. So let's get to the topic, automation. We all read newspapers, and I don't think so there's one newspaper out there which doesn't talk about either automation, digitization, data analytics, what is happening in terms of the digital world and how the world is evolving. Again, even if we leave apart the entire sensation factor that is associated with it, it is real. It is real that the world is going to change, and in fact, it is already changing. There are topics which are about the joblessness, the millions of jobs that are at risk, the anxiety that everyone is feeling about joblessness, the redundancy of what was our past expertise. Expertise I'm talking about, not past knowledge. What was expertise yesterday has become redundant today. And the need for us being able to take on the new jobs and the new environment that we are going to operate in. And that is what brings to this topic of digitize or perish. Now, this journey to automation or the industrial revolution, phase 4, phase 5, there are many different terms that you hear in this particular series. This journey has not begun today. Right from 3 million years ago, we have seen a lot of changes happening. Right from how do you use stones to light the fire, to use matchsticks, to use lighters, and now even more lazy, how do you use those automated touch to get the fire onto your stoves. All these evolution, it has been part of our entire culture. It is part of our human blood, I would call it, to be lazy or to find ways to do things in a much simpler and easier way. But each one of these changes has come with a little bit of a change, a little bit of a cost, a little bit of impact. And we as human beings have been able to cope up with it. If you think about the Industrial Revolution, it made a lot of our weavers and cobblers go out of job. But that doesn't mean that that industry perished, did it? No. But we took time to digest what exactly is it that is happening and what do we need to do to ourselves to be able to be ready for that kind of an environment. And thanks to technology, robotics, computing power, the high-speed networking, these changes are happening very, very fast. They're happening much faster than they would, and they'll continue to be much faster in the future. It's not just the manufacturing jobs that are at risk. This time, it is very high-skilled jobs that are continuing to face the pressure in terms of digitization and automation. Is anyone here who thinks that their job is exempt from being replaced by robots? The answer might be yes to some extent, yes completely. The range might vary from about 5% to 100%, but every one of us will be doing things differently in the new environment that is there. If you think about it, these changes have already started happening. It is not just, see, one of the comments that was made in the morning was that the impact of the industry or what percentage of people who will get impacted by automation, the number of people that is required to drive this thing is very small. But yes, but the impact of that is felt on every blue collar and white collar jobs. If you look at a lot of examples, the coveted accountant job, today 60 to 70% of this job, which is completely transactional, has completely been automated. If you go to organizations like Genpact, Cognizant, IBM, Accenture, every one of them is spending a lot of time doing that. You look at the restaurants, the chefs who were like specialists, now they can cook by using and following recipes by using robots, not taking a single day of sick leave or not having any smoke breaks in between. If you think about it, they have become the best chess masters, and they have also been able to compose music very successfully. So be it in the arts field, be it in the science field, be it in restaurants, be it in hospitals, every single area, this impact is going to be meaningful. I thought words will never speak the impact of it. I just had 30 seconds of video that I would like to play of how robots are actually becoming part of day-to-day life, be it from the distribution centers, to delivery boys, to cars, to medical as in field. But those are a few examples of Amazon using in its distribution center, where previously a person got an order, he used to go to the shelf and pick up the shelf and then come and do the delivery of it. But in today's environment, the person is sitting in one place, he's pressing a button, the robot brings the entire stack to him, he picks up whatever is required, and the material goes back. Simplifies the entire life of that poor guy who had to lift everything, keep walking between the distribution centers, which by no stretch of imagination are small space. There are lakhs and lakhs of square feet of area. They have tested robots to actually get the delivery. The person comes in 30 minutes, the delivery will happen to your home. You look at the medical field, the anesthetist role is becoming non-relevant. You look at their ability, they're able to read the scan reports, the CT scan reports, and are able to deliver very scientifically driven responses in terms of what the new cure will need to be. So the reality is, all of this thing is going to be changing. And I know when I started this entire understanding a little bit more about automation, I was like, I'm getting confused with all of these things about what is RPA, what is automation, what is robots, machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, IoT. There are hundreds of terms and terminology. But I found one article which was very beautifully, simplistically kind of giving the view of what this entire digitization is all about. The entire foundation to this thing, the level one, is the traditional robotic process automation. This is where what I would call the repetitive, rule-based transactions are what are automated. The reality is 90% of the efforts that is happening today, this is where it is. This is a really proven technology, and this is the best return on investments that the organizations are facing. If I have to place my bets, next 5 to 7 years, the entire effort will be at that base foundation level. Once the foundation has been created, the next level, the level 2, what we call the cognitive robotic process automation. Here, it actually starts using what they call the machine learning. What machine learning does, it helps it understand the context, the patterns, by repetitive exposure to something. This way, they can actually look at all the pieces which are related to scanned images, being able to understand unstructured data at email, and try to make decisions. And then the peak of it will be what is called the artificial intelligence. This is where they start mimicking what the human intelligence is all about. Start looking at non-routine, judgment-based, decision-making kind of roles. In my view, the number of roles are smaller in there, but the impact is huge. But I think this is at a very cursory stage of development right now. It will still take a few years for it to become mainstay. So what does this mean? What is the impact that we are seeing from this thing in our entire thing? We've been working with a lot of organizations and colleges. There are like 2 levels, 3 levels of this thing. I'll just take 30, 40 more seconds. The foundation is the data management, the entire data governance. The data is becoming very critical because that is becoming core to strategy. So how do you do the data governance piece? How do you actually do the entire analytics, the reporting, the visualization piece of it? The automation is the level 3, the automation, the IoT, the blockchain technologies. These are all the upcoming technologies that organizations are right now starting to build their foundation level knowledge, the broad-based capability building, getting the organization exposed through various different channels. And that is what brings to my, what is it that organizations, the colleges, the universities, the corporates, the aspirants, that they are doing in this space. The level 1 that we are seeing is webinars. Webinars are 3 hours, 4-hour session to get at a broader level exposure in terms of what does it mean to be automated, what does it mean, what it takes, what type of processes can be automated. This is to get them comfortable in the new world that they are going to be part of. Then there are the next level pieces. The colleges and universities are focused on how do I build careers, how do I expose them on those careers on automation, how do I create the curriculum, how do I get my faculty ready for it, how do I build it into my core curriculum. Those are the pieces of discussions that have been really, really powerful that we have seen with a lot of colleges. We are working with almost 30, 35 colleges in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, and we have seen the excitement and the interest of both the students and the faculty in that regard. I will just end on a lighter note. Obviously, there's a lot of unemployment that is being talked about, but the line is going to be queued by a robot in the future. There will be robots who are going to do 90% of your work. They will have questions. They will have to call the human beings. Definitely, they don't seem to be a happy human being having to talk to a human being. So, guys, I think like we all need to gear up for this change that is coming up. I don't think so it is going to happen in the distant future. This is happening right now. And it is important that we get up and be ready for this particular change. The entire societies, the communities, our friends, family, everyone is going to be changing. And we all will need to make some changes to ourselves to be ready for the future.